I love crocheting cocoons. The structure of them is so simple. It's just a rectangle folded in half and joined together on the side. But I've never made one with sleeves before, and this comfort cocoon project from the Cascade Yarns book just looks so comfy cozy. Plus, the book says that the projects are beginner friendly, so I figured this project would work up really quickly. There are 3 different sizes that this comes in the book, a small, medium, and large. I did make a couple alterations to this project because I wanted one solid color. In the book, it does have a 3-color striped pattern on this cocoon, which can look really cute, but I wanted to make a solid. So to help you out in the tutorial, I cue you with how many stitches to make and how many rows to make per size in case you want to make a solid color as well. If you are intrigued by the striped color, just follow the pattern in the book where it'll tell you when to change colors. There are links to both the book and all the materials used to make this project in the description section below. Now let me grab my Volare pillow, my crochet hook, and some yarn, and let's get started. Begin with your main color. For me, I'm making this cocoon in one solid color with a second color for the border and the sleeves. If you're following along with the pattern exactly as it is in the book for the comfort cocoon, you'll be using 3 different colors that you will be interchanging every row. If you're making a small cocoon, you're going to start by chaining 66 chains, a medium cocoon, chain 74, and a large cocoon, chain 82. I'm going to go ahead and make a medium-sized cocoon, so I'm going to chain 74. 73, 74. Great! For row 1, we will single crochet in the second chain from our crochet hook. Look at those V's. 1, 2. Remember, the loop on our crochet hook is not a stitch. Single crochet. The repeat pattern for row 1 will be chain 1, skip the next chain, and single crochet in the following chain. Then chain 1, skip the next chain, single crochet in the following chain, and repeat. Go ahead and finish row 1. I will meet you at the end of row 1 to show you how to work row 2. And finishing row 1. You will always end your row by making a single crochet stitch in that last stitch. Great, let's move on to row 2. Start by chaining 2. Turn your work. That chain 2 actually counts as your turning chain and your chain to skip over that first single crochet stitch. For row 2, you will start by single crocheting into the first chain 1 space. And then repeat the pattern of chain 1, skip the single crochet stitch, and single crochet into that chain 1 space. Continue working this pattern all the way across for row 2, and I'll meet you at the end of row 2 to let you know what you're going to be doing for the rest of this main section. Reaching the end of row 2, you will notice at the end of row 2 we have 1 stitch remaining. Go ahead and make 1 single crochet stitch in that remaining stitch. So it'll look like single crochet and then single crochet. Let's move on to row 3. Okay, so depending on how you will end and begin the next row, I'm going to chain 1, turn my work, because row 3 has single crochet, and then it starts the chain 1, skip 1 pattern. If you have 2 single crochet stitches right next to each other, single crochet in the first stitch, and then begin the chain 1, skip 1, single crochet in that chain 1 space pattern. Chain 1, skip the single crochet, and single crochet in the chain 1 stitch. And that's the repeat pattern for row 3. If your work or your row begins with a single crochet and the second stitch is a chain 1, skip 1, then you will chain 2, turn your work, and that chain 2 will count as the turning chain and the stitch to hop over that first stitch to begin your single crochet in the chain 1 space. Okay? So just look at the last 2 or first 2 stitches to give you an idea of how many chains that you will need to chain and how you will begin the row. You will repeat row 2 and row 3 over and over again to make this really long rectangular section for our cocoon. If you're making a size small, you will end at row 130. If you are making a size medium, you will end at 142. And if you're making a size large, you will end at row 154. Go ahead and continue this pattern. If you're working one color like I am, just continue repeating row 2 and row 3 through the end of that row that I indicated, depending on the size you are making. If you're following along with the book, you will be changing your color every row between color A, B, and C until you reach this row count. Awesome. This is going to take a second. Keep going, keep on crocheting, and I will meet you at the very end, that last row, to show you what we will do with that rectangular section. After you have completed all of the rows that you need to make your size cocoon, we come to the seaming part where we can make the armholes. So on one side, the shorter side, where you still have your crochet hook connected, go ahead and fold. I haven't tied anything off yet. See, I still literally have my yarn on my hook still. Take the first corner and fold it to the center, and then grab the other corner and join it together. Now grab your stitch markers and your measuring tape. If you made a small or medium size cocoon, you're going to measure 3 3/4, roughly right there. And what we will do is we will use the mattress stitch join to seam up this part and leave this open for the armhole. The mattress stitch join actually uses a needle and thread, or a yarn needle and your yarn. Let's go ahead and tie off our project right there. Cut your yarn so you can have enough for that join. If you run out, you can always attach more. It's not a big deal. There we go. Come to the 2 points. From the bottom to the top of one corner, hold some back. Come to the other corner from the top to the bottom. So we have our 2 corners joined together. Go ahead and tie a knot here so that when we pull our yarn tight, it doesn't just undo everything we just did. So that knot secures. And now we're ready for the mattress stitch join. Finding that first stitch right here, the V, taking our yarn needle, going from the bottom to the top of the back loop only, pull, then come to the stitch that's directly across, find that V stitch, and come from the bottom to the top of the back loop only of that stitch. Back to this side, find the next stitch up. There's the V right there, from the bottom to the top of the back loop only. And then right across, finding the V, finding the V, and then from the bottom to the top of that back loop only. And that's it. That is the mattress stitch join method. Great, once you reach your stitch marker, you can remove that stitch marker and make one more join here, and then we are done. And you can just tie off your yarn and weave in your ends. Now I am making the medium size. If you're making a small or medium size cocoon, then this armhole opening will be 3 3/4 inch wide. If you're making a large, this will be 4 3/4 inches wide. But honestly, this is your cocoon. So take a second and make sure that this opening will be wide enough for you to put your arm through and comfortable. If you want your armhole to be wider and have a lot more room, just undo some of this join and make this opening as wide as you want your armhole to be. It's totally fine. Make it comfortable for you. When you're ready to tie off your work, I like to hold back some of the yarn as I take my yarn needle and enter into the stitch. Went under both. I hold this loop back. I take this loop and I twist it to form this twist X shape. There we go. Then I take my yarn needle and I'll go underneath it. And then I will slowly feed that through so that way it lands exactly where I want it to land, and that is a slip knot. And now I can weave this in and cut off my yarn. Once you have finished securing one side of your cocoon, repeat this process on the other side of the cocoon where you are folding the two corners in, placing your stitch marker 3 3/4 inch or possibly 4 3/4 inch into the work, and then just seam up these two sides to close the armhole. All right, I will meet you when you are done with the other side to show you how to make the sleeves. All right, let's make the sleeve. Go ahead and grab whatever color that you want to make the sleeve with. We will begin by slip stitching our new color yarn to the same spot where our join was. We want to attach here, not at the top. That way we can conceal all of our joins. And slip stitch. Great. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, if you're making a small or medium-sized cocoon, we are going to want to make 27 double crochet stitches evenly spaced around this armhole. If you are making a large size cocoon, you're going to want to make 35 double crochet stitches evenly spaced around this armhole. Now, because I said evenly spaced, that means there's not going to be a clear spot to put your stitches. Just count. And if you come out with too many stitches, then add some room between stitches. If you come out with not enough, see if there's a spot where you might be able to make a stitch, like squeeze a stitch in. So there's 3 double crochets. 4, 23, let me look. So 24, 25, so I'm going to come up 2 stitches short here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end by making 2 stitches in the last 2 stitches. This is 24, and then in the same stitch, 25, and then in the next stitch, 26, and same stitch, 27. Again, we just need to make sure we have this number of stitches for the armhole, making it work somehow, some way around the entire surface. Slip stitch in the 3rd chain to close this round. Great. Right, so for round 2, we're going to go ahead and chain 3. 3. Front post double crochet around the next stitch. So find the next stitch, there it is, yarn over, insert your crochet hook to the side from the front to the back, then come behind it from the back to the front, yarn over and pull that through, then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 for that front post. Next stitch is a regular double crochet, double. Next stitch, front post double crochet, and regular double crochet. And that is the repeat pattern for round 2 of our sleeve. Front post double crochet, and regular double crochet, And the last stitch here is going to be a front post double crochet. Because those chain 3s, they do count as a double crochet stitch, a regular double crochet stitch. To close round 2, just slip stitch into that 3rd chain. There we go. For round 3, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Going to front post double crochet around front post double crochet. And regular double crochet on top of regular double crochet. Front post double crochet and regular double crochet. Repeat around for round 3. I'll meet up with you at the end of round 3 for me to show you what to do next. And closing up round 3, slip stitching in that 3rd chain to close. Great. Now for round 4 through round 14, we're repeating round 3. Chaining 3, front post double crochet around front post double crochet, and regular double crochet into regular double crochet. By working this pattern, we are elongating the texture and making this really neat rib look. We're also going to keep the same color. We're not changing the color. So just keep working this stitch through the end of round 14. I will meet up with you there to show you what we will do different at round 15. And closing round 14. Isn't that texture really cool looking? I love it. Oh, it looks so good. Okay, go ahead and grab your scissors. We're gonna go ahead and switch colors. So just cut enough of a tail for you to be able to weave this tail in cleanly, and then yarn over and pull that through for a tie off, and grab your next color. I only have 2 colors, so I'm gonna go back to my red, but feel free to choose whatever color you want to do next. And now we're gonna add the stripe in the sleeve. So I'm only adding 1 stripe, obviously, because I only have the 2 colors, but in the pattern, it actually shows that they're mixing up the 3 colors by changing up the color every row. Right, slip stitch in the same space or stitch that you slip stitched into to close round 14, and chain 3. You just kind of pick right up where you left off, repeating the exact same pattern, front post double crochet around front post double crochet, and regular double crochet in regular double crochet. Now I'm going to continue this red color through the end of round 19. So round 15 through 19, if you would like to do the same, or if you would like to have the multiple stripes, multiple colors, you're just going to change colors every round, every round, through row 15 through 19. I'll meet you at the end of round 19 to show you how we'll close off this sleeve. Closing round 19. Awesome. Now I'm going to grab my scissors and I'm going to change colors back one last time. So tie this section off. There we go. Then grabbing my next color. Again, I'm going to slip stitch in the same stitch that I did to close round 19, just to attach the yarn to the project. And chain 3, again picking up right where I left off with the exact same pattern for round 20 through round 22. I'll meet you at the end of round 22 to close off this sleeve. And closing up round 22. Awesome! And that is it for the sleeve. Unless you would like to make your sleeves longer or of course shorter, make the adjustments as you need. Perfect. You'll just weave in these ends and then repeat everything we did for the sleeve on the other side of the cocoon. If you need to, go ahead and just rewind the video back to where I started the sleeve and repeat exactly what we did for this sleeve, but on the other side. And when we come back, we will do the last step, which is making the collar border around the whole cocoon. Now it's time to work on the collar, the very last step of this cocoon before it is finished. So I'm going to go ahead and work from the right side, meaning the side I want showing on the outside of the cocoon. I'm going to keep facing me. We're going to start joining the yarn to the project at one of the seams where we joined the two corners together. I'm choosing to use my red color, and I'm going to use my red color up first and then end my collar with this off-white bone color. That's how I want my collar to look. Figure out how you want the colors to lay out on your collar. And we are starting with the very first color. So slip stitching where the join was to attach the yarn to the project, and then chain 3. 1, 2, 3. We will make 1 double crochet stitch in the side of every row all the way around. You want to end with an even number of stitches. The chain 3 does count as a stitch. 4, there we go. Slip stitch into the 3rd chain that we started with to close round 1 of the collar. Awesome. Now we're really working this collar exactly how we worked the sleeves. So this is going to look extremely familiar and hopefully feel like something you've done before. And last stitch for round 1 of the collar. Oh, I got caught with the tail from my seam. There we go. And then slip stitch into that 3rd chain of the chain 3 we started with to close round 1. Now we're going to work the collar the exact same way that we worked the sleeve. Go ahead and start every round by chaining 3. And then we will front post double crochet around the 1st stitch and make a regular double crochet in the next stitch and interchange or repeat. Front post double crochet and regular double crochet. Now in the pattern, their collar is working lots of different colors. They have a total of 9 rounds that they are working for their collar, and they split it up between the colors, making a pretty pattern. If you would like to use the exact same pattern type that they did in the book, feel free to change the colors where they're changing their colors. For me, I only have the 2 colors, the red and the off-white bone color. So what I'm going to do for my collar is I'm going to use the red until I can't finish another round. So basically use it up as much as I possibly can. And then I'm going to switch over to my 2nd color and finish off the collar in that color. I will meet up with you at the end of round 9 to finish off this project. You've got this. I hope you're having fun. We're almost done. Finishing my last round, closing up this cocoon. Oh my goodness. All right, there's my last stitch. Perfect slip stitch. And done. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the last thing that we have to do to finish this cocoon is just weave in all the ends. Great job, guys. Now, I was only able to make it to round 7 of the collar, and then I ran out of yarn. I think that's because I only had 2 colors I was working with, whereas the project in the book was working with 3 different colors, which I think helped them to stretch the yarn further to make a total of 9 rounds. I'm telling you this because if you also only get to 7 rounds in your collar, it's okay to stop there. You do not have to make the full 9 rounds and feel like you need to go buy more yarn to accomplish 2 more rounds, unless you really want to, and then go ahead. The thing I think I love most about making cocoons is how comfy cozy they are. But these sleeves have inspired me. Now I need to make a project wrapped around this idea. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you had fun, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.